Do y'all know that in the Bible there are so many keys to stewarding your money and handling your finances? God gave us the gems, okay? So today I want to talk about 8 biblical principles in the Bible about how to steward your money. As a Christian, we have to understand that our money here on earth is not ours. Nothing on this earth is really ours, okay? Everything was created by God, meaning God is the owner of it. We are just stewards, aka caretakers. We are like managers of his things. We have to take good care of the things God has entrusted us with. That includes money. That includes our temple. Anything that God has blessed you with, you need to take care of it. Stewardship means the careful and responsible management of something entrusted to one's care. We are God's stewards. Principle 1. God is the source. Understand that God is the source of everything. All of your finances, they come from God. God is the owner, and we are just the caretakers. Biblical principle number 2. We should be generous. God told us to give to those in need, lend a hand to the poor. When you're giving to those in need, you are essentially saying, God, I trust that you're going to provide my needs, that I will not lack anything. 1 John 3:17 says, if anyone has the world's goods and sees his brother in need, yet closes his heart against him, how could God's love abide in him? Luke 6:38 says, give and it will be given unto you. One thing about God is God loves a cheerful giver. God loves people who have a selfless and generous heart. Do not give to receive. Give because you genuinely care for these people. You genuinely love people. You genuinely trust God with your money. Principle number 3, save your money. Proverbs 21 verse 20 says, the wise man saves for the future, but the foolish man spends whatever he gets. Society says, YOLO, you only live once, like spend it while you got it. This is not saying that you can't spend money once in a while and enjoy yourself. This is saying that you should be prepared for the future, saving for emergencies. We live in a generation where everything is posted on social media. This generation is very materialistic and makes you feel like you need these materials to be happy. So it has us seeking these materials and riches. That's not going to fulfill you or satisfy your flesh. It is extremely important to live within your means. If you are working a 9-to-5 and you're making $1,000 a week, but you're spending majority of that money on materials and name brand and Gucci and designer, you're not living within your means. You're not being responsible. So I'm going to be your mother right now and tell you, you need to save your money. Principle number 4, get out of debt, okay? This is obviously easier said than done. I know a lot of us, we got a lot of bills. The sooner you can get out of debt, the better. It's important to reduce the debt that you owe. Proverbs 22 verse 7 tells us that the rich rule over the poor. The borrower is a slave to the lender. You're always going to be a slave to who you borrowed from. So it's important to get out of that debt with whoever you owe so that you are not a slave to anyone. God said you are the head and not the tail. You are the lender, not the borrower. So instead of going to the mall, make sure you put that money aside and put it towards getting yourself financial freedom. Principle number 6, contentment. This is a great one. Stop focusing on what you want and focus on what you already have. Be content in whatever situation you are in. A person who thinks, I'll be happy when I get that car, I'll be happy when I have a mansion, you're going to be in an endless cycle chasing these things of the world, which will never fulfill you. Notice how when we buy something, it's like you get it and you have this temporary boost of like serotonin, you're like high off endorphins, and then slowly after, you kind of get used to the item, you're just like, okay, what's next? It'll be an endless cycle of you chasing and seeking things for validation. 1 Timothy 6 verse 6 through 7 says, but godliness with contentment is great gain, for we brought nothing into this world and we can take nothing out of it. Principle number 7, do not co-sign for people. The Bible actually tells us not to put anyone's financial responsibilities onto yourself. Proverbs 17 verse 18 says, it is poor judgment to guarantee another person's debt or put up security for a friend. I know that you want to, help a friend out, but don't put your name on something to make you financially responsible. It's one thing if God calls you to bless this person with money, but do not attach your name or your responsibility to another man's debt. God tells us that it's poor judgment. Principle 8, work hard. Proverbs 13 verse 4 says, lazy people want much but get little. Those who work hard will prosper. Those who do well with what they are given more will be given, more will be trusted onto them. So God is watching how you work. God is watching how you show up. Make sure that you are working diligently, working hard, because God will surely reward you. 1 Corinthians 4 verse 2 says, "Now it is required that those who have been given a trust must prove themselves to be faithful."